the insurance company called him for payment?
Called him, yes.
That was nice of them, because I would imagine they'd say, no, he calls us. You know,
Right.
It's kind of your job.
I thought they was too, and she said no. I mean, she said okay, and I gave her the number.
And then you paid it directly with the insurance company?
Yes, ma'am.
And so are you saying this was a gift, and that just like the jersey, and that you weren't supposed to pay back?
This is the plaintiff, Paul Payne. He says he met the defendant on a dating app, and he invited her to go to a football game with him. He also loaned her money for her car insurance, and when he had to cancel on the football game due to circumstances beyond his control, she berated him. He stopped talking to the outrageous woman and now wants the $163 he paid for her car insurance returned. So he's suing her. This is the defendant, Adrena Phillips. She says she told the plaintiff she would love to go to see the football game, which was in Los Angeles, but she would have to drive from Las Vegas and her car insurance was due, and he offered to pay it. He then canceled on her after she took 3 days off from work for the trip, and she's now out money. Besides, the money he gave her was a gift, so she owes him Zippo. She's accused of causing a foul.
All parties, please use your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. As long as it's not you, Your Honor.
Which was, of course, the go-to, wasn't it?
I did think about that. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Mr. Payne, you are suing Ms. Phillips for $163 that you say you loaned her and she's supposed to pay back and didn't. How did you two meet?
We met on a dating app, Your Honor. We met on Facebook dating app.
Okay.
And everything. She reached out to me and sent me a text, and I reached out back to her and texted her.
Okay. And so you folks were talking on the phone how long before you poured $163 away?
About a month.
A month. Okay. And had you already made a plan to meet?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that plan?
The plan was to meet. The company I was working for, we was planning to take a load up to Vegas from L.A. to Vegas, and by the epidemic, things went wrong, so they couldn't get a load to Vegas. So the time that we was going to meet was during the football game.
All right. So you invite her to go to a football game?
Yes, ma'am.
And what game was that?
That was Dallas versus the Rams.
Okay, because she's a big Dallas fan?
We're both Dallas fans.
Okay. So she was going to travel from Vegas to Los Angeles?
Yes, ma'am.
To attend the game?
To attend the game with us on October the 8th.
Okay. Did you have tickets?
No, at the time I didn't. I was waiting for the money to come in order for me to get the tickets.
All right. So in relation to the trip that she's taking, you get the days off from work?
Yes.
How many days?
3.
All right. And what kind of work do you do?
I'm a nurse.
But what kind of nurse?
Hospice.
Okay. So you home health care?
Yes.
All right. So once you say I'm not working, you can't get back on the schedule?
No, because you have to have someone to fill in for you.
Fill in for you.
Yes.
So you take the 3 days off.
Yes.
Tell me when it comes up that he pays for your car insurance. How does that come up?
I think we were talking, and I had said something about, I don't have enough for my car insurance. I never asked him for anything.
I don't have enough what?
I didn't have enough to pay the whole thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I never asked him. A couple of days before that, he had just sent me a Dallas Cowboy jersey, say like on a Tuesday. And then that Thursday came, and he told me, he said, when your insurance company calls, give them my number. And that's what I did.
When your insurance company calls, give them my number. Why would? And the insurance company called him for
They
payment?
called him, yes.
That was nice of them, because
Yes.
I would imagine they'd say, no, he calls us. You know,
Right.
it's kind of your
I
job.
thought they was too, and she said no. I mean, she said okay, and I gave her the number.
And
They
then
called
you
him.
paid it directly with the insurance company?
Yes, ma'am.
And so are you saying this was a gift, and that just like the jersey, and that you weren't
Yes,
supposed to pay
'cause
back?
I didn't ask him, and I even told him. I said I will give it back to you. He said no. It was okay.
So-
but as time passed,
How much time passed from the time that he paid your insurance until the time of the game?
probably a month? I'm gonna say
It was a whole month later?
probably about a month.
Does that sound right, sir? Mr.
No,
Payne?
ma'am, it doesn't.
Okay, so you paid the insurance what day?
I paid the insurance on the 30th
Of what?
of September, ma'am.
And what
the
day
game
was the game?
October the 8th.
Okay, and so what happens just before October the 8th?
What happens before October the 8th? I got a notice from the DMV telling me that I need to pay my registration. I need to get insurance. If not, they were suspending my license. I have Class A license. I'm a truck driver, so I have Class A license, and they're suspending my license and my registration.
Okay, but that's because you hadn't paid it in how long? Like it's
No.
not like it's not like a big surprise if you're a commercial driver that you know.
Well,
right.
Well, I'm committed.
Okay, so
I'm committing myself on this one.
Right.
What had happened?
It comes up and you don't have the money for the tickets.
Right. Well, what had happened is that I registered one car. I got one car registered, and so when they actually ran the insurance, they're like, "You don't have insurance. How we let you slide? You know, register one car. So now, if you don't get both cars registered, we're going to suspend both registration and your license."
Okay, so you had bills coming up, so you no longer felt it was a wise idea to spend
It
the
was
money
like
on.
$1,200 something for the tickets.
Right.
And $1,200 something for me to get insurance plus the registration for both cars.
Right.
So
So,
it's like-
you call her and you tell her you're not going to the Dallas game.
Right. We're not going to be able to go to the Dallas game. This and that.
Right.
And stuff.
And what did she say?
And everything. That's when she was like going off on me like, well, you know, how am I supposed to, you know, you should have told me this earlier. You should have told me 2 weeks. I said I didn't know until it came in the mail. And she's
Right.
like, well.
So what
you know,
day did you tell her?
I told her the week before the 8th, that Sunday.
Okay. And according
gave
to you,
her a
then
week
it's too
notice.
late for you to work,
Well, yeah, because I had already
taking those days off. So then how'd the relationship go after that?
Well,
Not so
actually,
good.
he's not saying the truth because the Friday I called him, and that Saturday I called him.
Which Friday and which
didn't-
Saturday?
It was the
The week before you were supposed to be there? Okay.
Yeah, because I had to let him know that Friday,
Okay.
and I called him that Friday, no answer, no response. That Saturday, no answer, no response. Finally, he texted me and said, "Oh, well, no, we're not going to the game." Now, he said it was because he had to register his car. That's not true.
What do you think it is?
He told me because he was working, getting retirement and Social Security, and they went up on his rent. That's what he said, to
Okay.
$1,550.
Okay. But you think it's something else, like maybe he's really active on that website and met somebody else or something, because why isn't he answering you on Friday and Saturday?
No. I mean,
Well, why weren't you answering her on Friday and Saturday?
Well, Friday said I was totally busy. I worked them days. I'm a truck driver, and we're in the ports.
Okay.
And we're in and out of the port, so you know.
he don't work.
So what, you don't look at your phone?
He said
A
he
lot
don't
of
work
times, no,
weekends.
because once you go in the port, ma'am, you got a lot of interference.
He said
So
he
your
don't work
phone,
weekends.
your phone will not be working
Okie
in the port.
dokie. All right. So either way, you feel that you don't owe him the $163 because it was a gift, and in any event, he cost you more than that
Because I took off.
because you took the days off and you
Friday,
couldn't get him back.
Saturday, and that Monday.
And you feel she owes it to you because, according to you, it was always a loan. Can you prove it was a loan?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I was just in there while you was talking to me.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay. Can I see your phone, please? Will you hand it to my bailiff? Yeah, I'm scrolling up.
Okay, that's
You
good.
knew I'd scroll up, didn't
There you go. You're good. You're good. But as she stated, the sweatshirt was a gift. I stated that was a gift. Because I had another phone where she stated, "I'm a woman of my word. I do pay my debts back."
You have another phone, so I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
going to see it in
I
this
couldn't
one?
bring it- I didn't bring it because
he asked when he
because,
gave it to me.
Everybody stop talking, I'm reading. All right, I'm looking at your texts on September 27th, where you say, good morning, okay, the cheapest quote I got for car insurance is from Key Insurance, $163 down. So you didn't even have insurance. Can you still help me? You are saying to him. So this stuff about you never asked him doesn't sound particularly truthful.
Because when he offered it, and I said, because I was going to ask my brother.
Blah, blah, blah. It did not go down the way you said, which is you told him you needed to pay for insurance, and he said, have them call me. That's not how it went down. You're asking him, can you still help me? Then he says, yes, but not until Friday. Is that okay? You say, I'm waiting for their response. Okay, she said the amount might go up Friday, but I don't have a choice. I have to do what's convenient for you. I really do appreciate it. I will give it back as soon as I can.
And that's just what I told him.
Okay, well then where was this a gift?
Because when I told
he doesn't say, where's the part about, nah, don't worry about it. It says, you're welcome.
He said,
then you say, talk to you again. I got my jersey, even though it said XL.
We were on the phone. We were on the phone.
Okay, but so nowhere is there any evidence to support what you're saying.
No, I'm telling you what he told me.
You can say that, and then he says he didn't tell you, and then the stuff in writing is completely contrary to what you're saying.
Right, I did. I told him.
All right, are you still going to pay the car insurance for me? Let me know, please. Do not Cash App it. Let me know.
Yes.
Okay.
But I offered to give it
What do you mean, don't do Cash App? How do you plan on pay for it? I'm not going to use my credit card, he says. Can we MoneyGram?
Then he
Because this isn't him just picking up a phone behind your back and
No.
I'm going to put one of my bills on hold for you. Stop talking. I sent it MoneyGram. Blah, blah, blah. She's calling you now.
Yes. That's when he told me to give them his number.
Okay. What happens between September 27th and October 1st. On October 1st, you text him, okay, I guess your actions is my answer. I'm not mad. I kind of felt you wasn't going to be a man about it, but I probably saved my own life. Thank you for your help. And like I said, I will return your money.
And that's just what I told him.
Thank you also for the jersey. I really appreciate that. You take care of yourself. Nice meeting you. You really did not have to embarrass me like that and have me take off work and now all of a sudden no words. What happened there?
Like I said, he wasn't answering. But I had to let my job know by that Friday, and he was not answering.
Well, at some point he answered and told you, and after that he also ghosted you.
That was that Sunday.
Why'd you ghost her? What happened?
I didn't feel right. It felt like my ex-wife. So
why? What reminded you about your your poor ex-wife?
Because when I got with my ex-wife, she wanted $400 and some. And I sent her $400 and some, and we was together for 12 years, and after that, it went downhill.
But when I offered to give it back, he said that was okay.
I don't see that here.
Yeah, that was on the phone.
Okay, did she offer to give it back, and you say, okay, now how are you going to prove what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, pay the man his money, $163,
no
verdict
problem.
for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the plaintiff prevails. He's going to get that insurance money he had sent to the defendant, $163 back. Ms. Phillips, what's your reaction? You got to give the money back.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Really? Have you ever done that before? Agreed to go on a date, but tell somebody they got to pay your car insurance first?
No.
First time, huh?
This is a first for me.
Had you ever met him?
Yes.
Oh, you had? Okay. I know you met on the internet. I didn't know you'd actually met.
Yes.
In person. But you had. Okay. I don't gather you'll be meeting again, will you?
No.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Payne, I think you probably learned a lesson from this. Am I right?
Yep.
Tell me what you've learned.
I learned a lot. When you go on a date, you just can't help everybody.
Yeah. So obviously you took a shine to her. Is that right?
Yeah, she sounded like she was a pretty decent young lady at the time. Yes.
You say she sounded. Let me ask you. Had you ever met her?
No, this is the first time.
Oh, she just said she met you. That's not true, huh?
You the man.
I'm the man. No.
You the man.
My
you know
goodness,
the truth.
You've never met the lady? Talked to her on the
this is my
internet?
first
You
time.
agreed to pay her car insurance?
Right, this is my
That
first
seems
time.
strange.
That part.
First time.
Yep.
Wow. All right. You have learned a valuable lesson.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're going to get your money back. Good enough.
All right. You have a good one. Be safe.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck to you. All right, Harvey. That's one for the books. What do you think?
So, Doug, this case ultimately came down to whether it was a loan or a gift. We have talked about this before, but I think it's important for people to know. When you exchange money or other items of value, there is a presumption that the other person is going to pay you back in kind or with money. Now, that presumption can be rebutted, but the burden is on the person who gets the item of value, for example, money, to prove that it was a gift. They have the burden of proof, and if they can't prove that beyond 50%, they lose.
I have a big front lawn. It's over an acre in size. The other day, I got in an argument with my neighbor in the driveway about who was going to win a football game on Sunday. He said, hey, as he was walking away, if the Jets win, I'll mow your lawn. And he walked off mad. Well, the Jets won that game. So now he won't mow my lawn. He won't mow my lawn. Can I sue him?
No, not really, because it's just kind of an empty promise.
Why not? He said, hey, I'll mow your lawn.
I know.
if the
Should he
Jets
do
win."
it? He should mow your lawn. But is it an enforceable contract? No.
And why not?
Because a contract requires that each side give up something. Like, I will pay you $1,000 if you fix my drywall. This is a contract. We're each giving up something. I'm giving up $1,000. You're giving up your time and talent and fixing my drywall.
So one guy had no skin in the game.
No skin in the game. That was just smack talk and
Right.
whatever.
Right. And if you win or lose, it's just.
Yeah, he's not the one who won. It's the Jets who won that game, and it's,
Right.
so no.
Right.
There's nothing he did.
So he's got to mow his own lawn.
He's got to mow his own lawn.
All right.
This is the plaintiff, Christine Combs. She says she paid the defendant, a crooked contractor, $1,000 to purchase materials for a construction job, and the guy up and quit and stole her money. That's right, he took her money, but never bought any of the building supplies. And she's here suing him for a full refund of $1,000 because she wants her money back. This is the defendant, Kylan Hurt. He says he did all the demo work on the plaintiff's daughter's house, but she only paid him for the materials. He basically worked for free because the woman never made the full payments for his services and labor. And if the plaintiff thinks he's returning any money to her, she's nuts. He's accused of doing nothing.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she unfortunately hired what she calls a crooked contractor, and she wants the judge to make things right. But the defendant says that this woman only paid for materials and she wants labor for free? Ha! It's the case of, if I had a hammer.
Have been sworn.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
All
ma'am.
right, Ms. Combs, you are suing your former contractor, Mr. Hurt, and his business for $1,000 that you want returned to you that he refuses to return.
Correct.
Tell me what happened here.
We hired the defendant to do a bath addition to my daughter and her.
Who's we?
My daughter and her fiance at the time. They're not married.
And how are you involved in that?
I am the liaison. I'm the
Are they
contractor.
particularly young or?
Yeah, they're 25, 26
Okay,
years old.
all right. So do you live with them or no?
My daughter lived with me at the time.
Okay.
My now son-in-law lived in the house that they were renovating.
Okay, so but is it your house that the
It's
addition
their
was going?
home.
It's their home that the addition
and
was going
I
in.
was being the general contractor.
So you don't
for
live
them.
there?
Correct.
Okay, I was just trying to get the flavor of things. And how did you learn about him?
I found him on Nextdoor, and he's done good work. I saw things that he'd done, so I was fine with that.
You didn't actually know somebody who'd used
I
him?
did not know him.
All right, so what happens? You hire him to do what?
So I reach out to him over the summer, tell him that they would like to add a bathroom to their upstairs of the Cape Cod in time for their October wedding, because my daughter's living at home still until the wedding, and we were trying to get it done in time for that, even close. That was fine. So we met over at the job site. He walked the job site, and then after a few weeks, we had gotten a text message with a contract
Quote?
amount. Yeah, quote,
Okay.
I guess you would call
All
it.
right, did you get, and the quote was 18,000.
18,000.
Because what? There was going to be plumbing and stuff?
There's, correct.
And you folks approved the quote?
We did approve the quote.
Your daughter sent $1,800?
Correct.
A 10% deposit?
Correct.
To and
reserve
then what
the
happened?
date, and then he was to get us, and at that time, we were going to have another meeting with myself. At this point, it had only been me and the defendant that had walked the site, so we were going to meet with all four of us, discuss the floor plan that I had drawn up, and review everything, that make sure everybody's on the same page as far as what needs to be
Was
done.
this going to be permitted or not permitted? Were you
Not
going to try to
permitted.
fly under the radar? Okay, and is he a licensed contractor or not?
No.
Nobody bothers to check until
No,
there's a lawsuit?
no.
Oh, you haven't even checked at the lawsuit. Are you licensed?
Not for electrical or plumbing. You're not required to be licensed.
You don't need to be licensed in the state of Ohio to do electric or plumbing.
Nope, Middletown and Kentucky.
Okay, so what exactly do you need to be licensed for in your state?
Only to pull permits, but that would be only for major electrical changes or major plumbing changes. And I have a plumbing contractor who is licensed. If
So,
needed.
yeah, so you do what everybody else does in every other city, which is you pay somebody and they get the light, so you're not licensed. All right.
Right.
But
so
go
the
ahead.
plumber would.
Yeah,
would
but
do the
apparently that wasn't
plumbing
a
part.
sticking point for you, so it's not a sticking point for me either.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
So we're not disputing
So what happened?
that part. So we agreed on the amount. We sent the amount. And in that meeting, we had done a walkthrough and discussed what's going to be done. Kylan was going to send me a list of materials, and we were going to pull things ourselves ahead of time, so everything was on the job when he's ready to start.
Was the $18,000 including materials or not including materials?
At one point, I did text him and ask if it included
Yeah, that's like the first
rough
question.
materials.
Right.
And then in the following text, he says yes and answers another question. There were two texts he was replying to, and I misread it.
I'm
so-
sorry. So what's the answer?
The answer
did you
was
like in
no.
other words, before I agree to fork over 18 grand, I know what I'm doing.
Right. It
What
was
did you-
labor only. It was labor
only. So
Right.
did you learn this before or after?
I knew at
Okay,
that time
all right.
when we
So,
gave
all
it
right,
to him.
So
I didn't
again,
love it, but
fine,
it
non-issue.
Was, he could do it.
Next thing that happens.
Right, right.
He comes in and he does demolition, correct?
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's
How many days did the demolition take?
2 full days, 2 half days.
2 full days and 2 half days. How many people were there for demolition?
Just him.
Oh, just him. All right. And then
And this didn't happen until after the wedding. So we were supposed to be starting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me
the
see
end
your
of-
contract where it says time is of the essence and that there's a date. An
Right,
end date.
there's nothing
Right. You
there.
have no contract.
No, and
which
that's
I
fine.
which I
And-
also
and I
don't. No, it's
wasn't-
not fine. I also don't recommend that ever in construction, but also with an $18,000 job. This is a pretty serious job. How many $18,000 jobs do you have? Do you have a lot of them? Because I think this is a pretty good job.
It wasn't my first,
I'm not sure it's not your first, but are all of your jobs 18,000?
roughly.
Get out of here. So, let me talk to you for a minute. So all of your jobs are 18,000 roughly. Why wasn't there a contract? Because it's a pretty big job, and there should be very understood between everybody what is covered and what is not covered.
This was kind of a start of my company. At that time, I started off working for myself after, getting general experience, and I was very
How long had you been? What had you been doing before this? I guess
general construction, residential remodeling of that nature. So
for other people. I mean, for another company.
yes, other
Okay.
companies to gain my experience.
Okay.
I had
How
gained-
long had you been doing that?
I've been doing it since 2015-16.
Okay. Go on.
So I started off doing that, and as my skills got better, I just decided to go off.
So how long have you had you said this was kind of the beginning of your company. How long has your company been in existence?
I started it in August of last year, and once I started that, I filed the LLC and everything in March, fully insured.
March of what year?
2022.
You started in August of 2021?
Yes, started doing side work, et cetera, building up my name,
yeah, but
building my
you
reputation.
filed an LLC in March of 2022, and
Yes.
this job came when?
It came, she reached out to me in July.
July, so of the same year. All right, so what went wrong here? Because at some point, my understanding from reading your answer to the complaint is that you decided not to do this job. What happened?
There was many red flags that I ignored from the start. One, there was a failure for me to assign a contract and pursue that. That was my naiveness, thinking that the customer was going to take care of me as well as I was going to take care of them. Again,
Never. You're in
never.
business and you're a businessman. This isn't personal.
Well, that was wrong for me from the start, failed there. Number two many things changed. Like I said in the contract, or like I said in the statement there was 3 different separate occasions that me and her daughter and her husband at that time, had agreed to the way I operate. And then once we operated on that.
Wait, what was the way everybody agreed to operate?
That I was going to get the material money and my labor money up front, and I would provide all of the materials.
Wait, you would get paid 100% up front?
No, ma'am.
Well, you just said labor money and material money.
So the 25%, there was 25% labor fee or labor deposit.
So the agreement that you say was reached is that you were going to get paid a 25% deposit on the labor.
Once I completed 25% of the work, which was demolition.
So this is where a contract would come in handy, right? Because your estimation of 25% of the job being done may not be her estimation of 25% of the job being done. Plus, she may not remember the 25%. She may think it's 15%. You see? So if you, and this is how you should run your business from now on, and I tell you this as someone who has spent 30 years watching people end up being sued, and you don't want to be in this position, this young in your life, you want to have a contract that says exactly when the payments are due. After 25%, and then you put in parentheses, after demolition and installation, whatever it is, plumbing or whatever it is, you put each thing so that the point of putting it in writing is that there's no confusion about whose job is what, when. Now, according to you, there is a verbal agreement that you will get 25% at demolition or just when it's 25%?
So there wasn't an exact verbal agreement of what
okay,
would
so
be
anyway,
paid at.
so when you've done with just a second, I'm not asking you anything. When you're done with demolition, you expected 25% more because you'd gotten 10%, right?
Correct.
All right, so you expected 25% more, and they're now on their honeymoon because you didn't get it done before they left. And then she ends up telling you, all I've got is $1,000, and she gives you $1,000 for materials, correct?
Correct.
Right. Had he told you that he needed money for materials?
We had a discussion that he was going to be purchasing materials.
Okay.
Initially, back in July, his presentation was that we were going to be collecting the materials. So at later, he says we changed the way his process is happening, but we were going to be gathering materials. So on October 31st, he gives us this is after my daughter's returned, and after I've given him $1,000 for the materials.
What I wanted to know is why you gave him $1,000. What did he say to you as the reason?
He wanted funds for materials.
Okay.
He texted me the day I had Venmo'd him the material.
All right, if your understanding is that you're literally supplying the materials, is that your understanding? Because you wanted to use a credit card that had a discount where?
Correct, at Home Depot.
Okay,
I could get
so
a discount.
if your understanding is that you are literally responsible for purchasing materials, is that what you thought?
Initially, I was.
Right, so why are you sending him $1,000 for materials
This is
if
months
initially
later,
you were?
and I had never gotten a list of materials that we needed.
Okay, so you said give him $1,000 for materials, and then what happens?
He had the $1,000,
right.
And that day he says, I'm going to Home Depot this evening to purchase materials and supplies.
Right.
The next day, he's not there, so no materials are purchased. I
He kind of quits on you. Quit on them, right? And tell me why. You say they changed the way things were going to happen. Number one, you didn't get your 25%. I heard you tell me that. Mm. Then you also said they changed the way the supplies were going to be bought. Explain that to me.
So in the initial, yes, if the time schedule that was supposed to happen from the very initial start of our conversation was going to happen, they were going to supply the materials, et cetera. My schedule no longer lined up. I told them in the midst, hey, my schedule is no longer corresponding with what you guys are wanting. That was the October 30th.
I don't understand what you're saying. Meaning
you're
not available?
Yeah, my schedule was going to be prolonged. I was not going to be able to...
Meaning that you're not going to do it on the timetable that was agreed.
Correct.
All right, there's nothing about
that.
Ma'am, I can't tell you enough times. This is not an audience participation sport. You are not in an arena. If I am in the middle of asking him a question, don't just bark out something. Go ahead.
Correct. That my schedule is going to be prolonged. I was not available at that time anymore. So with that being said,
well, that's you breaching the agreement, right? I mean, you say that like in a way like deal with it, but you know. All right, so go on.
So that happened, and then once I finally got around to starting the job, on 3 different separate occasions, verbally agreed to, hey, I want the material money so I can go and purchase the materials.
Okay, and
have them on site.
Wait, since this is the way we're operating, what does that mean?
That was the verbal agreement we had.
I want the materials on site, so you tell her go get the materials.
No.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry, let me back up and slow down.
Okay.
I apologize. So the agreement was that the $18,000 was the labor, and then they were to provide materials.
Got it. That's what she says. Yeah.
So with that being said, rather than me trying to send a massive list to them and them not knowing exactly what to go and get, since this is what I do for a living, I said, okay, hey, if you give me the material money, here's what I estimate it to cost at. I will go and buy all the materials and give you receipts.
Okay.
I do not want to make money off of the materials.
Right.
My labor is what it's at for this reason.
Okay.
So that was said. I never received the material money to go and purchase the materials.
You got $1,000. You know you got $1,000.
I'm getting to that. Sorry. But that was, so I never received it at that time. And then I had verbally asked, okay, hey, I need material money now. Demolition has started. That was when I was sent $1,000.
Okay.
And I'm then at that point as well requesting for all of the material money and a 25% draw on the labor. So that was why I walked away from the job, because once it started, I got $1,000. Then I was told that there was no access to the funds anymore. I had to wait until they got back. So now
they were on their honeymoon. Why couldn't you just wait until they came back?
Well,
they had to wait for you because your schedule wasn't ready. I don't understand. This is how construction works. It's always delayed. But they weren't barking at you when you couldn't finish it before their wedding and demanding all the money back. So you couldn't wait until they came back from their honeymoon. How long was their honeymoon?
2 weeks.
All right. I mean, I don't get it.
So I waited till they got back.
Okay.
Still did not receive the money when they got back. Had to ask again. And then I was told to wait another week for my money after work had already proceeded.
Okay.
At this point, I have a business to run. I have bills to pay at home. I'm not waiting on $4,000 any longer. I still at that point and then was told, hey, we're not giving you the material money. Send me a list so I get a 10% discount. That was when I've done
What's the problem with that, though?
I've done it out of experience. When I have to send them the list, they don't buy the materials that I'm accustomed to, or I was certified to use certain materials as well, and I do that to honor installation warranties.
Right, but, okay, what she wanted was to be able to use a discounted card. At Home Depot, I am from a contractor's family, okay? At Home Depot, you can have a project opened up, and it's on a certain card, and you can still go and make sure that she doesn't botch it. Instead of giving her a list, you pick everything out, but it goes under that project number and gets billed there. So there shouldn't be any problem. Plus, according to your own testimony 2 minutes ago, that's what you had agreed to originally anyway, that she would supply the materials. Not just pay for them, but get them. So I'm not getting what... I've never seen a contractor walk away from an $18,000 job over, you know, they're taking too long. If they're taking too long, just go to do your other jobs and you fit them in when you can, and they can't complain because they're the ones who weren't coming up with the money. I don't understand you. There's got to be something else. Was she rude or there has to be something else. What is there?
It was just, it was the red flag after there was no contract. There was...
The no contract is your fault. The delay is your fault.
I understand
And you turning around all of a sudden and saying, well, the agreement was at the beginning that she would, but then I changed my mind on that, and then she changed her mind back. And I don't know where you're coming from. Give this lady her $1,000. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff wins the case. She gets her $1,000 from the defendant. Let's see what the defendant, Mr. Hurt, has to say about it. You just heard the judge say in no unquestioned terms, you owe her the money. What do you think, Mr. Hurt?
Verdict's already settled. I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
Nope.
You know, kind of made you look a little awkward, you know, not very business savvy. You understand?
It's okay.
All right. Well, nothing to say? Then the exit's on your left.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right, Ms. Combs, let's see what you have to say about this. I know you're relieved. I think you made a bad decision. What do you think?
Well, I could have been a little better on getting our paperwork. We did, it wasn't said during the court, but we did request paperwork a number of times. He gave us a very brief contract for the initial deposit, but we didn't have a long written contract that should have been more clear.
That's, when I said you made a bad decision, I think you made a bad decision to hire him. That's my opinion. What do you think? Yeah. Well, next time. What's the status of the job at this point?
We have a new contractor. I actually found the day that he quit, and we are in process. We did the remainder of the demo work, and we hauled away all the debris that he had left. So the job is proceeding now, and hopefully they'll be done pretty soon.
Well, look, I hope so. I think you've learned a pretty valuable lesson, right?
Get the contract first.
There you go. There you go. All right. Good for you. Congratulations. You get your money back. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Harvey. What are your thoughts? Let me know.
Okay, Doug, 2 points. One, don't put down more than 50%. If you can put down less, do. But don't put down more than 50% for a job that hasn't even been started. That's number one. Number two, you got to make it clear when you give a deposit in writing exactly what the scope of the job is. Because I'll tell you, there are shifting sands sometimes with contractors, and you got to lock him down and know exactly what he's going to do.
A friend's dog had puppies, and we bought one for $100. My friend said they were French bulldogs, but when I took it to the vet said it's a Boston Terrier. Can I sue?
How on earth do you confuse a French bulldog with a Boston Terrier?
I think they must look very similar when they're little,
I don't know.
As puppies. And but French bulldogs are expensive dogs. They're worth
You paid $100. That's like an adoption fee, for goodness sake. You didn't, it's not like you bought a French bulldog.
Right, and you bought it from like a neighbor or a friend of a friend.
And you're going to sue them.
So there's no implied warranty of merchantability. If it's a dog, you're going to lose. Because if it's a tennis racket and they said it was a dog, you might win.
I mean, listen, I don't know. It's not like it's completely laughable because one time I was buying a prom dress for Christy, for my eldest, and I went on a site that said BCBG.
Right.
And I bought a dress, and it was like a good $100 off of like a $200 dress or $300, whatever it was.
A bargain.
And it was a bargain. It was just. It was discount. I'm like, oh, great, they're having a sale. And I go through and big BCBG is a designer, and I mean,
I've seen their stores.
A brand, and we love it, and it fits us well, and we're, and so I order a few dresses, and then the dresses come, and then I can tell from the packaging they don't seem to have come from BCBG.
Right.
And I take the dresses out, and they're very pretty, but I'm like, something's off. So I go to the BCBG store in the neighborhood.
Right. To return them or to?
No, to show it to them and say, these are legit, right? And they said, no, these are all fakes. Ooh. So I wrote to the company, and their response was, we think you know from price, not BCBG. I'm like, well, thanks for the evidence.
In an email, right.
Thank you for the evidence. And, and I fought it with the credit card and then donated the dresses.
Did you end up getting your money back?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, but I truly believed I was buying, and the price truly reflected that I was buying.
Right.
Or almost reflected that I was.
So it wasn't a huge markdown. It's not.
No,
it
wasn't like I paid $2 and then I'm and it's not like I wanted the $300 like this person does, or the $400 that the dress would normally cost. I just wanted the money back because it was misrepresented to me. So when this person says, "Am I going to sue?" What are they going to sue for? $100 or $3,000 at a French bulldog?
Yeah, I mean,
cost?
Don't you want the puppy too?
Yeah,
come on, if I take the puppy home, by the time I get to the house, we're bonded. That's it. That puppy's not going anywhere. So
don't sue.
I don't care what it looks like or what kind of breed it is.
Well, that'll do it for this session of the People's Court. See you next time.